This is Owl Talk,
a Sigma Pi podcast
featuring stories,
news, updates, and more
from the world of Sigma Pi fraternity.
We are back with another episode and another season of the Owl Talk podcast. Special thanks to the Delta Beta chapter guys for recording the new opening for this podcast. We also have Jack Madden coming in later with a new closing for us too. This season, we have a lot of great guests lined up, spanning from sports to entrepreneurship to undergraduate leaders and scholarship winners to alumni that are leaders in the professional world and so much more. Today, I'm glad to welcome Avery Newell from Epsilon-Rho Chapter at Drury University. Avery was Sage of his chapter as well as the president of the fraternity council on his campus, and he was also the squad leader for his university's national champion shotgun sports team. We're going to talk about all of that and much more on today's episode. Avery, welcome to Owl Talk.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I always like to start with a little conversation about who our guests are and where you come from. So if you wouldn't mind, maybe you could talk to our listeners about your journey to Drury University and what brought you to our Epsilon-Rho chapter.
Sure. I guess originally I hail from a small town called Rogersville. It's right next to Springfield, and Drury University has it. And I graduated from Logan Rogersville High School over there, and originally I was going to go to the University of Missouri at Mizzou. Come to find out, they do not have a shotgun sports team. Lo and behold, my coach actually from my high school became the coach over at Drury University, and so he was the one that kind of pulled me over there and said, "Hey, I'm just now starting a team. I want you to be the first squad out here." So I said yes. Lo and behold, that was history.
Love that. I love that. And then once you got to Drury, how did you find Sigma Pi?
Well, it was like day one, I think. There was this fella I met, I believe his name is Carter. He helped me move my mini fridge up 4 flights of stairs into my dorm room. And I'd say that's just about as good of a first impression as a fella can possibly make. Because Lord knows I did not want to move that thing. And so once he was done helping me move in, getting all my stuff settled and everything, he introduced himself, said, "Hey, I'm Carter." He told me a little bit about his fraternity, what he does on campus, and how he got involved. Invited me out to an event, and man, I met the guys, and talk about a lively bunch. I pretty much fell in love pretty quick. It was all I wanted nothing more but to join those guys as fast as I possibly could.
I love that. We'll get back to your Sigma Pi experiences here in a bit. Sure. But let's talk for a few minutes about your history in shotgun sports. How did you begin in the sport? You just told us a little bit about how you wound up at Drury with the sport, but talk about how you became the squad leader.
Sure. I guess I first got introduced to the sport because I was bored in high school. I didn't want to do any running, and I didn't want to do anything that involved a ball because unfortunately, God did not give me the ability to be very good with my hands. So that kind of ruled out baseball, football, all the good ones. So my buddy Dawson introduced me to shotgun sports. He's like, "Hey, do you own a shotgun?" I was like, "Yeah, I suppose I do." He said, "All right, you're coming with me to practice tonight." So I did. Went out to practice. I realized very quickly that participating in a sport where I just get to sit there and shoot a gun 500 times a day, that seemed pretty cool. So I got set up with that one and got hooked pretty quick. And then, of course, that led me all the way over to Drury University. Kept shooting for those guys, and man, it just get better every year. Anytime that I had an opportunity to get out and participate, or anytime that I had an opportunity to get out and compete and really just push myself to, see how far I've come, that was the coolest thing ever. I enjoyed it a lot.
How many years in high school did you compete?
So yeah, I started in sophomore year, so I guess it was 3 in high school, and then shot for 5 years at Drury, so altogether for 8 years. The entire time I was stuck with my high school coach because as soon as I graduated from high school, that's whenever he became the coach over at Drury. So I was even stuck with him for 8 years too.
So maybe you could take our listeners into the world of shotgun sports. What does that entail? When you say you're competing with shotgun sports, what are the competitions?
Sure. So shotgun sports is kind of just like a blanket term, I guess, that really covers 3 primary disciplines. You've got trap, skeet, and sporting clays. Trap and skeet are essentially kind of similar. It's just, one bird at a time, except the only difference is trap, the bird's going away from you. And I should note, when I say bird, it's an orange clay disc. We do not shoot real birds. I've had so many people ask me that.
It's good to know.
I figured I should preface anyways.
Yeah.
So with trap, birds going away from you, skeet, they're crossing in front of you, and then sporting clays, they're going everywhere. I am trash at sporting clays. I am terrible. If I do not know where that bird is going, it's a nightmare is what it is. Usually we'll go out and one round will consist of 100 rounds. So there are 100 shots, I suppose. Usually in a big competition, we'll try to shoot about 3 events a day. So it's 300 rounds plus, let's say, like 100 rounds of practice. And then usually it goes on for about 2 or 3 days. So you're looking at somewhere pretty close to about 1,500 rounds fired in 3 days. You know, it's chaotic and I love it. It's a good time.
Wow, it's fascinating.
Oh,
Really,
yeah.
it is. So let's talk about the national championship. What was that? How did you go from putting your team together and getting the squad together to becoming national champions?
You know, it takes a lot of practice, like anything else, I guess. But our nationals are always in March every year. Of course, the school year starts in August, and from the first week that we get back, it's practice at least 2 or 3 times a week, shooting probably pretty dang near close to 200 rounds each practice. Continues the entire way up until March. Of course, our coach is very generous. He does give us a winter break off. So, you know, there's a good
Nice.
2-3 week period there where my shoulder is not black and blue, which is much appreciated. But then March rolls around, and of course, everybody is just as anxious as one another or trying to prep and practice as much as we can the weeks leading up into it. The location for nationals has changed, a couple times the last, handful of years. But whenever we won nationals, it was in San Antonio.
Oh, cool.
In San Antonio, man, it's a gorgeous place. Walking the Riverwalk and everything. It's a
It is, I agree.
real nice venue to be having our nationals. You get down there and as soon as you roll up in the van, you open the door. It sounds like war, is what it sounds like. It sounds like a battlefield. Because basically a mile to your left and a mile to your right, there's just folks. Shooting at trap houses the entire way down. And so sometimes, if you're pretty near close to the line, it can be a little difficult to hear what your buddy right next to you is saying. It gets a little loud sometimes. We got down there, and of course, all of us were anxious hearing it. It's kind of a lot to take in all at once. Man, we just kind of had to take it one event at a time. You know, anytime that we got kind of wrapped up in our scores and what event we had coming up next that we still needed to shoot, we all did our best to remind one another that let's just stay present. Let's stay focused. Let's focus on what we're doing for the now. We'll worry about the scores and everything after we've done what we can, after we've gone out, we've shot to the best of our ability. And that strategy seemed to work pretty well because we ended up leaving with the national championship.
There you go. There you go. Who are the teams you were competing against? What other schools were you competing against?
Oh man, I don't even know. So we shoot D3. In shotgun sports, it works a little bit differently from other sports. The divisions are based on how many players you bring. For example, D3, you're allowed up to 10. D2, you're allowed to bring up to 20. And D1, you can bring as many shooters as you want.
Oh, wow.
So, for example, the D1 schools, which we weren't shooting against them, but some bigger names. I want to say that I know for a fact there was University of Texas. There was Clemson. One of the biggest names in shotgun sports right now is Lindenwood. They're actually from here in Missouri as well. Those were the big 3. And then in our division, I guess the one school that was our biggest competitor was Bethel University. Those guys have some hammers is what they have. They've got some really good shooters.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of more teams in there. I can't hardly remember them all because I was too busy looking at our team's name on the scoreboard trying to see where we were at.
Yeah, of course, I can understand that. So let me ask you this. You win the national championship. How do you then prepare for the next season? You're the best of the best. How does the preparation for the next season go?
Well, we had to do a lot of cooling off, I can tell you that much. Coming out of it, going into the next year, spirits were extremely high, which is good, as they should be. Suddenly, man, no matter how capable you think you are, sometimes that ego can get in the way a little bit at a shoot. And with shooters, I've seen it plenty of times. They get out there and they know that they can get out and run 100 targets, not miss a single one. And then they get out there and they shoot 99 out of 100 and are suddenly really, really upset with themselves, even though they shot a really, really great score because they know that they can shoot 100. You know, we kind of had to qualm that a little bit. That was pretty lethal. Suddenly, you had guys that would get out there, shoot really great scores, act like it was the worst score in the world, and then as a result, it would kind of tank the scores for the next few events. So long as we stayed on top of that, we did all right.
Good. And now I'm curious, do you have any plans for future involvement in shotgun sports? You just graduated from Drury. You've got 8 years in the sport. You've got a national championship and other great accomplishments under your belt in the sport. What about the future for you in shotgun sports?
Yeah, every year we have we call it the Panther Open, which is it's a charity shoot that we do for the team, just a fundraising shoot for the team, I should say, where we get out there and we'll invite as many people as we can in the area, past shooters that have been on the team, whatnot, and get out there. So, needless to say, I'll be participating in that. I want an opportunity to get out there and try to show them that I've still got it, at least to a degree. The guys practice at the Springfield Run and Gun Club over here, and I don't live too far away from it, so there have been a few times now where they, need to unload some targets, some shells and stuff over there. So they give me a call and they say, "Hey, Avery, we need you to come on down, bring your truck, help move some stuff around." And man, anytime that I get that call, it actually kind of makes me pretty happy that they still think about me a little bit. So
That's great. That's
the plan.
So you'll stay involved. That's awesome.
Absolutely, I will.
Let's talk for a little bit about what you learned with all of your experience in shotgun sports and then being squad leader. And what did you learn from that you brought to Sigma Pi fraternity? Specifically, I'm curious to know how your experiences in the sport helped shape your perspective as chapter sage and then, of course, as president of the fraternity council.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you the biggest thing it taught me is how to be patient. In shotgun sports, the biggest asset that an individual can have coming into the sport is the ability to be patient, to wait on a bird, instead of rushing into it and pulling the trigger as fast as you can, trying to break it as early as you can. Instead, letting that bird show its face, patterning out, exactly where the cleanest shot is going to be that you can wait, then pull the trigger and move forward. But additionally, it's having the patience to deal with a lot of smack talk. Tell you what, in shotgun sports, man, those boys talk a lot of smack. That really helped being the sage and whatnot, because, of course, everybody's got a lip to them whenever suddenly things aren't going their way the way they want it. Man, being a part of shotgun sports really kind of taught me how to take it and even give it back a little bit. So I appreciated that.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that you said you learned patience, because, boy, if there's something that a chapter sage needs, it's patience.
That's exactly correct.
Let's talk a little bit about your time as chapter sage. Anything stand out to you in particular while you were the president of the chapter?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing that stuck out to me was the feeling of pride that came with it. I mean, really, I was kind of going into the position because I felt that out of all the possible candidates that there were for the position, that I was just the most qualified. I had a lot of folks telling me outright that, "Hey, man, if you run for sage, I'll vote for you." At the time, I didn't really have any interest because I was really battling with my my academics at the time. I kind of told them, like, "Okay, fine, I'll run. We'll see if I get it." Well, I ended up running, and I guess I got the position pretty handily because there wasn't much of a debate over it. I came into it, and suddenly that feeling of pride hit me like a wave, and I was like, "Wow!" Suddenly I'm holding a position of something that is much greater than me. Suddenly I am a mentor for all of these gentlemen here in my fraternity. I'm somebody that each individual can count on, that they can give me a call at any waking hour of the day and say, "Hey, Avery, I need you to do something," and I'm there. That was the first thing I noticed. And then second thing I noticed was, boy, howdy, the responsibility. Suddenly I've got to submit reports. I've got to be in meetings at campus all the time. But even that was pretty rewarding too, to a degree. I actually quite liked it, getting to be a part of those meetings with all the big dogs at the table. And, I'm just kind of sitting there twiddling my thumbs. But man, it felt cool.
That's awesome. Those are great lessons. Those are great lessons that you learn from being sage. And you can carry those into your professional life, of course.
Absolutely, I can.
Let's talk about the other side of that coin for a moment. Is there anything you learned while in your fraternity leadership positions that you brought with you to being the squad leader for the shotgun sports team?
Yes, definitely. Especially being the sage at the fraternity, a big thing that I had to deal with was conflict resolution. Guys are going to get in spats. They're going to argue. That's just the way it is. Similarly, guys on the shotgun sports team, whenever one guy has a plan for how to approach a station or how to approach a bird and another one has a different plan, suddenly they start arguing about it. I always tried my hardest to be that man that would kind of get in there, hear both sides of it, find a solution that, they could both agree to, that, hey, maybe you're both right. Maybe there's multiple different ways to approach this station, to break this bird. Neither of you guys is necessarily wrong. let's find out. Let's see it. Why don't you go up there? Why don't you shoot it your way and you shoot it your way? And then, hey, maybe one of you guys is right. Maybe one of you guys is wrong. We shake hands. Then we move on to the next station as a team. That ability helped out a lot, especially at nationals. Things got heated pretty quick, especially in the sport and clays area. I myself, I'd like to say, unfortunately, I was part of that conflict pretty often. I shouldn't have been because I had no idea what I was doing in sport and clays, but man, I sure acted like I did. But yeah, that was the biggest thing, I think, learning how to resolve that conflict, how to come to a peaceful negotiation. That was absolutely huge. It was critical for our nationals.
Seems like there was a good relationship between what you learned from the fraternity and how you brought it to the shotgun sports, and then what you learned from shotgun sports and how you brought it to the fraternity, which is great. That's a great symbiotic development there. Let's talk about you for a moment. What does the future hold for you, Avery? I know you just graduated from Drury University. You have a degree in finance. What do you want to do professionally?
It kind of changes day by day a little bit. I guess as soon as I graduated, I kind of looked into doing like insurance and whatnot. I went into life insurance and kind of explored that avenue a little bit. The company that I went through, they actually put me through sales school, and that was really fun to actually get to learn a lot about the tips of the trade, how to make a sale, and that sort of thing. I finished that internship out, and I realized, that it's just not for me. So I moved on, and I started looking into financial planning, financial advising, that kind of thing. It looks like a lot of fun, but I also have to go back to school for at least another year and get a degree in or a CFP, a certificate in financial planning, if I want to do that. As of right now, I'm just not sure if I want to go back to school for a minute. Now it's kind of led me to now, and I'm just kind of picking up odd jobs. I've been doing a lot of painting lately, just kind of earning some dough while I try to decide on whether or not I want to return to school. And I actually have grown to enjoy it quite a lot. I kind of like the idea that I put my labor into something, and then once it's done, I step back and I look at it, and it's gorgeous. And then seeing the smile on a customer's face whenever they come up and they see it, and then suddenly they've got their same smile, and it's cool. So I don't know. I've never been a big guy for like the trade jobs. I really thought I wanted to go into finance, but I don't know. It's kind of fun right now. So.
Look, that's the beginning of entrepreneurship and small business management, so you never know. You never know.
Exactly correct. Man, dude, if I could go into my own company, that would be the first thing I'd do. I would absolutely love to operate my own company and have my own design, my own everything. I think that's the end goal for sure.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Just start thinking about it and start working towards it. The fraternity recently announced a new slogan. It's Find Your Purpose. Can you talk about how Sigma Pi fraternity helped you find your purpose during your undergraduate years?
Sure. During the undergraduate years, Sigma Pi definitely taught me it taught me the value in being a mentor, being somebody that people can approach and ask a question or come to me, I can be their confidant, that sort of thing. I had a lot of that my undergraduate years, a lot of folks coming up and asking me that sort of thing, and I realized pretty quickly that that was my purpose. At least for then. Maybe it'll change a little bit going into the future, but for now, being somebody that, my friends, my family can approach and ask to hear them out, or maybe ask me to, help them with something. I think that being somebody that can offer help at any turn, I think that's my purpose right now. And so as such, I've recently applied to be the advisor for my chapter at Drury University, just because I know that with that position, it'll put me in an even better position to be able to reach out to the guys, talk to them, and to be there for them as often and whenever as possible. For now, that's the purpose, I'd say.
I love that. That's a deep and meaningful purpose, Avery. And as far as applying to be the chapter advisor, look, I've held a lot of positions in Sigma Pi fraternity, from chapter advisor, province archon, grand sage for a while. The best job I've ever had in Sigma Pi is being chapter advisor, and I'm chapter advisor for my guys at Monmouth now. Nice. If that happens for you, trust me, you will love it, particularly if that's your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The last question I have for you is, do you have any parting words or ideas or maybe some thoughts that you want to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest message that I try to spread, especially to the gentlemen that I work with over at the fraternity, is to find the strength to be kind. I think in a world that has made it so easy to become angry, it's made it so easy to spread hate, I think to have the power, to have the courage to be kind, to turn the other cheek, and to wish well on each and every person that you meet. I think that makes a big, big man. And so I would say that if you can, find the strength in every opportunity to spread kindness, to tell those around you how much you care for them, how much they mean to you, and to turn the other cheek whenever somebody may do you wrong, no matter how much it hurts.
Amen, brother.
Thank you.
Great parting words. Thank you very much. Hey, if our listeners want to connect with you online, what's the best place to find you?
Let's see. I guess right now it's probably on Instagram. I'm pretty sure my my username is like at @a_very_new_well. Kind of a long and tedious username, but find me on there. I post very infrequently. Just shoot me a DM if you want to talk. Otherwise, find me out on the road sometime.
Great. We appreciate having you, Avery. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It was wonderful being here.
You can stay up to date on the latest in the world of Sigma Pi fraternity by following us across social media. We are at Sigma Pi, all one word, on Instagram, X, LinkedIn, and Facebook. On YouTube, we are at Sigma Pi fraternity, also one word. Remember, you can always get the latest information on Sigma Pi fraternity at sigmapi.org. Thank you to everyone who listened to this episode, and we look forward to you joining us for the next Owl Talk podcast.